Launch men are crashing their families. I could see it in the room. I could sense it in the room. You could feel it. So what happens is a man decides, I'm a man. I'm gonna launch and take care of myself. And then he enters into the workforce. Okay, I have a job, I'm paying the bills. He marries a woman. Okay, this is my wife. Then they have kids. Okay, now I've got a family. You're like a pilot. Okay, if you're a husband and a father, maybe a grandfather like me, you're like a pilot. You're like, I got a plane. I found a runway and I spent years getting all the debris off the runway. And I got the woman, she got on the plane with me, I'm the pilot, she's the co-pilot. So much work, so much effort, so much time, so much fuel. Finally, we got this marriage and family off the ground. They start having kids. You're like, wow, the plane's filling up. Then you have grandkids. You're like, whoa, the plane is really filling up. Don't crash your plane. Don't take your plane into a mountain with your whole family on it. You're the captain. Some of you men have done that. I love you, God forgives you. You're here because you're not just broken, you broke it. I want you to not be religious men who pretend that you got it all right. I want you to be real men who tell the young men, this is how you crash your plane. Warn them with tears in your eyes and love in your heart. This is how you crash your plane. What I am seeing at my age is men who got their plane up, but they didn't keep their plane up. They flew their plane right into the mountain with their whole family on it. Some of you grew up in those homes. I could just sense it in the spirit. Some of you right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now that I'm a grandfather, like I got to keep the plane in the air. Everybody I love is on the plane. For you passive men, here's how you're going to crash your plane. You're going to let your broken, unhealthy wife and her emotional dysfunction or her screwed up family take your plane and fly it into the mountain through your passivity. I don't like conflict. She's a strong personality. Her family's very domineering. Let me tell you, you're the pilot. It's your family, it's your legacy. Some of you men, you are going to be abusive and angry. You're going to be domineering and overbearing in an unhealthy way. And your kids and grandkids, they're going to start putting on chutes and jumping out of the plane. Like, I'm not flying with that guy. I don't want anything to do with him. All of a sudden, you're lonely. You're like, where did my family go? Well, if you're the angry, abusive guy who's always screaming and yelling in the cockpit, eventually the grandkids, well, they don't want to cry around grandpa anymore. So all of a sudden, dad or mom's got to strap on a parachute and jump out of the plane. For those of you guys who are self-indulgent, see, when you're young and you're broke and you're hungry and you're fighting and you're struggling, you tend to be a little more focused. You get a little older, you're like, I got a little money. I got a little margin. I got a little free time. I'm now the boss at work. I've got a little disposable income. The question is, what are you going to do with it? If you're going to be the guy who just drinks a lot or eats a lot or gets into drugs or gambling or other self-indulgent behaviors, guess what you're going to do? You're going to just take that plane nose first with your entire family on it right into the mountain. Because the most difficult thing, can I tell you, the most difficult thing for a man to control? Himself. I think this is a word from the Holy Spirit for some of you men. I love you, I really do. I know it's hard to tell, but I do. I'm here because you matter and your family matters and your life matters and your legacy matters. But I've seen guys rule companies. I've seen guys command troops. I've seen guys close deals. I've seen guys conquer obstacles and destroy themselves because they can rule over anyone and anything except for themselves. Sometimes the hardest thing for a man to control is himself. And let me say this as well. The shortcut to taking your plane right into the mountain is what? What do you think it is? Let's just be honest, we're here. Infidelity. It's infidelity. It's infidelity. Let me just say this. The God of the Bible is pro-sex. So there's good news. Right? He made a woman. She was naked. I mean, that's where we started. You're like, thank you very much. We're off to a great start here, okay? If you're from Texas, naked. She was naked. Okay. So God is pro-sex. God said it's not good to be alone. God said get married and be one flesh. God's pro-sex. God's not anti-sex, but God is pro-sex within marriage. When you get sex outside of marriage, you're just going to take your plane and crash it right into the mountain. I would just encourage you men. I'm not legalistic, I'm not religious, I'm not harsh accountability. But I grew up in a day when if you wanted to have sex, you had to try. Remember those days? Now, if you want to not have sex, you have to try. You single guys know what I'm talking about. You go on a date with a girl and she's like, oh, and you're like, what the? We're not going to start with prayer and Leviticus and, you know, our aspirations. I mean, it's a wild day. It's just a wild day. True or false, when you get a little older and you're a man who's got some money and you got some power and you've had some success, there's a lot of women that make it very, very easy to be with them. They just do. Okay? These are the black widows, boys. Watch out for them. Watch out for them. What I'm telling you, men, is this. I want you to get your plane up, but I want you to keep your plane up. I don't want you to be a man who gets a job and marries a woman and has some kids and has some grandkids and then takes the plane right into the mountain and it's just a big explosion. And generations later, they're like, well, what was Grandpa doing? That's why we're here, men. We're here because you matter. We're here because your marriage matters. We're here because your job matters. We're here because your children matter. We're here because your grandchildren matter. We're here because your great-grandchildren matter. And if you're a single man, you say, I don't have those. You will. I'm just telling you what is coming, and we're trying to prepare you for them. Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.